Hey everybody, Steven here. Today's video I'm going to be talking about one of the corrections that I've been doing a lot more of in regards to pushing a sled. And it feeds into DNS stuff and grip stuff. And it really is just cueing the shoulders to be loaded properly. With this, we're looking at external rotation of the shoulders. Most people, when they push a sled, if my arms were up here, right, and I'm bowed forward, but if I'm here, most people are crunched up in that shoulder and they're not actually loaded down. The tester that I do with everybody is putting them up against a wall. So if I'm here, I'm going to pretend this is the sled and I'm here, right? Big thing is usually people are crunched up on their shoulders. What I want to be able to do is bring my elbow pits so they're facing directly up, right? Which is going to externally rotate my shoulders. And then once I'm here and I push through my hand, so I'm creating as much distance between my hand and my shoulder, because if I sink in, it's less distance. If I push away and then bring those elbow pits up and bring my head down, now I've created that distance. What we are doing with that is turning off your trap. It's better if you have a partner that can feel. If I do this with just one hand, I can feel right now that trap is relaxed versus here where it's tight. If I sink that down, this is loose, I can move it. Typically when I see people pushing a sled, they're basically loaded up like this. All that load is going towards the trap, which is ultimately a part of the neck, so it's loading up that neck. Now as they're pushing the sled and it's dependent upon the load, you're doing more harm in my opinion than good, because what's gonna happen is eventually that's gonna get so tight or overworked. Now we're getting headaches, you're getting jaw pain, the shoulders are hurting, right? So we wanna fix that. This is the starting point, and then after that we apply it to the sled. Now, with that, this does require that you take a lower position. A lot of times when people are pushing a sled, they might be up here pushing, right? What's gonna happen is I wanna be lower on this and down, and then I'll go off the ball of my feet if I can. I could go flat in this. If the person can or you can go off the ball of the feet, better. I wanna go slow and controlled, and as I'm pushing, I'm driving through the back leg's glute. So this front leg is gonna drive back through that glute, right? So that that back leg, once it reaches that position, you should feel that hip and that glute is turned on. I'm gonna cut the camera so you can see a side angle of me doing this, and that way you can see the difference between the two. I recommend filming yourself on this so you can actually review it and see, like, all right, I was doing this or I wasn't. It is very hard to obviously feel your trap if you're just by yourself and pushing this. If you have somebody there that can help you, they walk alongside and then they cue that and they're just wiggling your traps to make sure that they're relaxed. So once again here, elbow pits come up, I'm down like this, and I've created distance between my palm on the sled bar here and my shoulder. As much distance as possible. I'm not sunk in like this. I'm also not doing this variation of it, which even with that variation, if I was pulled in tight, and I don't have a problem with that one, it's still gonna be the same cueing in that I want my shoulders to drop down. I should feel my lat is loaded up, more so than anything. Both variations, I should feel this. Teres major minor through here as well. Serratus, this whole area basically, more so than the tops here. So let's go ahead and cut to the side angle. All right, so side angle on this one right here, loading up, much like I did against the wall. I don't have to be necessarily parallel to the ground, but the lower the better. I don't want to go past parallel, but I want to be down here. So I'm going to think elbow pits come up, which is cueing external rotation of my shoulders, really the head of my humerus, which is my arm bone here. Here, so elbow pits up. I'm going to create as much distance between the base of my palm and my shoulder, which means I'm pushing away from this, right? I'm not sinking down, I'm pushing away from it. Now I'm here, and I'm just going to walk this. I'm thinking relaxed with my arms also. I don't want to be tense through my arms, because what's going to happen is that over time you're going to pull that shoulder up with it, because you're creating systemic tension through that whole area. Yes, I've created a distance where it's the furthest point from here to my shoulder, so I'm reaching versus like sunk in. At the same time as I do that, I'm trying to keep the arm relaxed. Like I said, it does help if somebody's walking by you and kind of just wiggling your traps, just giving you some type of neurological feedback as to whether or not this area is tight and you're hunched over. And they can visibly see, like if I'm like this, which is internal rotation, my shoulders come closer together. If I externally rotate my arms here, they grow wider. They should be able to visibly see that a little bit and say, all right, go a little bit wider, which really just means I have to turn my elbow pit up, pull that shoulder out. So down here, down, and then I just want to walk this. And we really start there, right? We start slow and then we can build up fast. That's not a ton of weight. For me, I want to see if somebody has the ability to do it when the weight is lighter, because then I know as it gets a little bit heavier, that's actually going to help cue that for them anyways, right? So if this is a little bit heavier, much like the wall, which I can't move, it is a little bit easier to cue that than when I get to the sled. As it's lighter, now it is really up to me, or it's checking, do I have the ability to cue that under less load? And if you do, you usually have more motor control, right? You own that movement a little bit more. Load helps dictate that later. So start light. Do you have that ability to, I'm not running with this yet, I'm just simply walking it. And then as I get a little bit more comfortable, now I can increase the weight, and now I can actually put a little bit more speed behind the movement. For us, we always, like a martial arts thing, right? Slow is fast, fast is slow. Looking at this movement, and if I can do this slow and with control, I've earned that right to then add more weight and to do it a little bit faster. A lot of people just jump to heavier weight, and unfortunately they're harming their body in the long term. Obviously doing some type of movement versus no movement is better, but if we're doing these a lot of bad motor control and a lot of these bad mechanics with the movements over time, we're just putting ourselves in a position to get more hurt or to ingrain a bad movement pattern. This is where we see people when they squat and they let their knees buckle because they've just historically allowed that to happen, and then we come in and we try to correct it. This is really what we're doing with this as well, okay? So hopefully you guys are able to use that. If there's something where you're like, I need a little bit more explanation, in the comment section, let me know and I'll make sure I make that video as well. It just helps with me getting on creating more content. If you like the video, hit the like button for me. If you want to continue to follow along with all of my content and it's been helpful, hit the subscribe button for me. Thanks so much for watching.